Hi everyone. I wanted to quickly make a video with regard to this job search. I've been reached out to by quite a few people recently who are having a really difficult time landing their next role. And they're great executive assistants. I think would be an asset to absolutely any company. But my concern is they're not advocating for themselves in a way that makes them compelling and different than anyone else in the wild. And I wanted to really kind of dig into that really quickly so that you're a bit more empowered and you have a different mindset when you're reaching out to companies, or if they're reaching out to you in order to potentially become a member of their organization. So one thing that appears not to be happening is executive assistants, or anyone really, knowing their worth. And when I say knowing your worth, it's really about doing an audit of what you bring to the table, what makes you different than anyone else that might be applying for the same job, and then also knowing and really feeling empowered by what you bring to the table and the sort of skills that you have that may be different than anyone else. So I wanted to quickly kind of dive into, for instance, experience. Experience used to be kind of the differentiating factor between, one candidate and another. Now it's sort of a facet, if you will, meaning experience alone doesn't necessarily score you the job. And what I'm finding is that a lot of sort of older EAs are relying solely on their experience and not sort of staying really current with what the market is actually looking for, as well as the skill set that the market is looking for. And not just that, but also really kind of pushing experience to the fore, but not relying solely on experience in order to sort of move you on to the next round of an interview cycle. So when I talk about experience, the things that I, for instance, use when I apply for roles are things that companies can sort of use immediately, or perhaps save headcount on, or perhaps save tons of money on. For instance, office moves. I used to have my own corporate interior design business. So, for me, it was more than just an office move. Not only have I moved several offices over my career, but I've also designed several offices over my career, which saves companies hundreds of thousands of dollars because luckily I have an eye and I'm able to really, I'm great at negotiations, for instance. So I negotiate furniture companies down to almost at cost, or somehow get deals that a lot of other people wouldn't be able to just because I know the business. So for instance, that's an example of experience. Skills and certifications. I'm a licensed real estate agent in California. Comes in handy when we have to negotiate leases for space. So again, these are things that make me a bit of a unicorn for instance, when I was looking for roles. These are things that I would bring to the fore. These are the conversations that I would have and really sort of not only know my worth, but to also advocate on behalf of my worth. Meaning, if you hire me, not only do you get, a competent executive assistant, but you also get someone who can not only move the company, who can probably design it, who can negotiate the lease, etc. And then another thing that a lot of executive assistants specifically leave out is, because of all of that experience, you probably have a Rolodex and a list of connections that is 3 to 7 miles long. And that's one of the things that it's hard to sort of quantify, but in action, it's everything. For instance, I think my worth, probably more even than my experience and my sort of, innate abilities, is the fact that my Rolodex is many years long across pretty much every industry on the planet. I now span from aerospace through entertainment, through, energy, basically everywhere that I've been. Tech, of course, investment banking, that's where I started. So all along that lineage, I've maintained a really, really thick Rolodex of connections and people that I can reach out to in the moment and basically make shit happen. So that's another thing that, again, as you go through this interview cycle, it's something that you might want to sort of remind a company of, or a prospective employer of, is that not only am I experienced, with the sort of day-to-day and my skill set is up to snuff and all of that, but I also bring with me a pretty large, set of suitcases with pretty much any connection that you want. So you can pretty much ask me any question. I can reach out to either my tribe, because I have one, as well as this whole Rolodex of people, and get you anything you want. That's one of those things that actually makes you different and actually makes you, I think, even more compelling a case than, a younger executive assistant that doesn't have the level of experience that you have. So, quickly to wrap this up, it's about standing out. What we have to realize is the market is hot, but there's also a lot of competition. Because if you think about it, a lot of the best EAs have already been snapped up. But it doesn't mean that they're happy. So what we're finding, and what I'm finding specifically, is that even the top EAs that are either part of my private tribe or that are out in the wild reaching out to me are saying, hey, if you hear of anything that's kind of sweet, let me know. And I'm happy to do that, because I get hit up by CEOs and internal and external recruiters all the time that are looking for a unicorn. And another reason why I have a private tribe is we're made of unicorns. All of the people on my private tribe are badass. I mean, they understand basically what I'm talking about right now. They understand their worth. They understand what makes them different and what makes them unique and what makes them special and highly, highly sought after. And they're able to basically write the check themselves when recruiters come calling. So keep that in mind. Know your worth. Know everything that, every component of your worth, which, again, goes back to experience, your skills and certifications, and that Rolodex that, again, we never really talk about, but it's a big selling point. Don't be fooled. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the either in the comment section or via DM. I do a lot of coaching as well, so sometimes it helps to kind of talk through these things and look through your resume and kind of pick out the parts that actually make you special and rewrite your resume accordingly. I'm happy to do that for you. It's going to cost you, but but it's worth the investment. So thank you again, and I will see you again soon.